his face right now, because with the black pieces against someone like Denis, you can't take unnecessary risk. It doesn't pay off for the most part. So Denis Lazavik, this is his first time in the winners final. He would love to get to the grand final in Division I of the Chessable Masters. The first 2.5 points takes the match. We're at a 1.5 tie. The next win, it's match over.
We're off. It's game 4 and a Queen's Gambit declined. Black not taking on c4. It's the Slav defense. Will we see a repeat of game 2 of this winners final? No, Denis Lazavik switches things up. He pushes a pawn where earlier he brought the white knight out. So Magnus the first to pause, first to think. You could still see similar positions, transpositions, but Magnus regaining his composure here. Tanya, what do you make of his body language? Lily, and understandably, it seems to have affected Magnus.
It definitely did. We saw him at the end of game 3. Magnus was angry. He was swearing right there. He couldn't believe what had just happened. We could see that on the camera, and now he's got to come back. But the one thing that's scarier than Magnus is an angry Magnus, and that's what Denis has to face right now. With the black pieces, Magnus going for the Slav, he goes for this bishop g4 variation. It's not one that I've played with the black side. Robert, break down the plans for us. How do you see this one progressing? And is Magnus just trying to stop the bleeding and take this to Armageddon?
Magnus is taking the solid approach, because as we look at the pawn triangle in the center, black has all of these pawns on light squares. Only white has a light square bishop. So for Magnus Carlsen, you typically prefer to play with the pair of bishops as a high level player, but he's saying that I've shut down open diagonals. Even pawn trades won't give it the full length of the board that it would like to use to its advantage. So I think Magnus, he just wants to play quickly, he wants to play solidly, but David, look at his face. He is still bothered about what's just happened.
Understandably, as we said, Magnus, he's the number one, he's the GOAT for a reason, and he's not used to being in situations like this where a young pretender, a young rascal comes along and kind of knocks him and kind of threatens to kick him off his perch. But yeah, he needs to recover, Magnus, and I think he's doing the right thing. I like Black's opening choice here. I like the fact that Magnus has gone for this really renowned, solid variation, because ultimately Denis doesn't want to take too much risks either. Yes, he's riding a high. Yes, he just beat Magnus, but it's not his style, Denis, to kind of set the pace, to be the one pushing and kind of taking risks. So Magnus, he's saying, okay, if you want to win, come at me. I'm happy to just recover. And as you mentioned, Robert, rock solid from Black.
But for Denis Lazavik, he's been hanging on by a thread for the last bunch of moves here. Queen D3 check, and as you said, Tanya, the king, by thread and needle, can use those light squares, and it is going to be a problem for white. The king G3, what a natural move to play to avoid any kind of queen trade. Queen D5 was going to offer a queen trade with black's king in a favorable spot. David, will Magnus find queen D3 first and king F5 second?
Yes, because Robert, I want to point out, don't play king F5 now. If you play king F5, enter with the black king, you lose on the spot. The white pawn will step forward to E6 with a discovered check, and you have to retreat with the king taking this pawn. You get mated in the center of the board. So process of elimination, you cannot advance your king first, you have to go for a check, and only then, once your queen is safe, drive forward with your own king. It's a race between kings right now, and Magnus, we think he's going to go for it.
Do you see the blue arrow here? G5 check. I assume if pawns each other, there might be queen C4. Is that one of those ideas that you could play to force the queens off the board and get a pass pawn? That is incredibly deep, and it goes to show that pawn quality, it often outpaces pawn quantity, and especially in an endgame like this. G5 check is played, I'm gonna freak out, because that just looks impossible. There are no protectors of that square, and white has two pieces covering it.
We're all going to fall out of our chairs if G5 check is played, but Magnus has 25 seconds. Always look for checkers first. That's the moral of the story. Either they're very good or you rule them out and you look for something better. But okay, he's really going low on the clock. He plays the more natural move, king to F5. Missed opportunity, maybe winning there, some checkmates or queen trades. And now, wow, blue arrow says the best move to keep the balance, the only move, is to give away the pawn. And Dennis is, can the black king escape from the white queen's gaze right now? No more checks suddenly. Why has he sacrificed the pawn? Why is this genius? Because of the king march. Now it's Dennis being brave and adventurous with the white king.
Yeah, I didn't see another check, and I was really surprised. But like you said, the black queen needs to defend all these checks, and he goes pawn hunting, but now there's got to be a perpetual. Now you start just checking the king, and you don't allow black's queen. You probably give a check from C5, making sure that the black queen cannot come to defense. He
Exactly
doesn't.
that.
We're going to be careful, Dennis. The black queen can swoop back to block some of these checks, as she just does there. Dennis, did he miss that one? He leant back in his chair. 2 seconds. He's playing purely on the increment now, shaking his head. The black king's going to slide away, slink away to safety. And the white king might get checkmated. Be careful here.
Wow,
It's a quick trade.
What an offer, and it's a draw. So it was brilliant by Denis Lazavik. Apparently, this is a hold, but not after that movement. He had to play B5 a moment ago. Now it's too slow.
Start a race, Denis Lazavik. We had no time to calculate, shaking his head. Now the black pawns are going to march forward to victory. Heartbreak, he was one accurate move away, so close, but Magnus is going to do it. Endgame magic again. There we
And
go,
Magnus
Magnus takes
Carlsen
it.